Hi, and welcome to Run Tall with Tim, the YouTube channel that's dedicated to all runners everywhere. I'm Tim, and I upload new running videos every single week. If you're new to the channel, I try to get videos out on both Wednesday as well as Saturday, and that's at 5 a.m. Standard Eastern Time here in the US. Also, I've created chapters, so if you want to skip around to the parts of the video that are of most interest to you, I tried to make it easy for you. All you have to do is open the description and then click on a timestamp for the part of the video that you want to watch, and it'll take you right there. Today, I'm taking a second look at the Brooks Ghost 13 after 50 miles. So we're going to take a look at the upper, see how that's holding up, and talk a lot about its performance. Also, this is a shoe that was recommended to me by my physical therapist a while back when I was recovering from a running injury. And I'll talk about why they recommended this shoe to me. But first, let's see what these shoes look like to run in. So I'll give you a little bit of demo, but then when we return, we're going to talk a whole lot more about the Brooks Ghost 13. Now, the version of the Ghost 13 that I'm sharing with you here today is a part of their Run Visible line, and you can see that mine are white with a lot of reflective material. I do appreciate that. You know, there are times when you find that you have no choice but to run in the dark, and anything that can help me be seen by motorists, pedestrians, other runners is a good thing just to help keep me safe while I'm out running. Now, this shoe costs $130 US. You know, that's not terrible. It's pretty much on par with other high-quality daily trainers. It comes in at 9.8 ounces on my scales for a men's size 9 or 280 grams. It's not the lightest daily trainer on the market, but it is under 10 ounces. And for me, for a men's size 9, that's usually pretty decent weight for a daily trainer. So I certainly didn't have any issues there. And now let's just kind of zoom in. We'll take a look at the upper. We'll see how it's holding up after that 50 miles. And we'll start up in that toe box area. You can see it has lots of perforations. And then as we pan around the shoe, we can see that, you know, they got their Brooks logo along the side of the shoe, all the way back around to the heel counter. Now, I have had an opportunity to run in this shoe both in the summer months when it was much hotter, and then in the fall when it's a little bit cooler, and then now in the winter months. And today, I was out running in these shoes, and it was in the low 20s. And, you know, they felt comfortable. So, you know, I think they found a pretty decent blend as a daily trainer that can help keep you comfortable while you're out running, both in hot weather as well as cooler weather. You know, I wouldn't say that it's, highly breathable shoe. And, I didn't feel any, big gush of cold air across my toes, but it was comfortable. And it's been comfortable since the first day that I'm running these. So, I think they found a nice balance here. And as you can see, there really aren't any signs of major wear anywhere on the shoes. Mine are white, and so white's hard to keep clean. I did try to clean them up a little bit before filming the shoes to share with you here today, but you can see that I've just got some dirt smudge marks on that upper that just would not come out. So just something to keep in mind that, mine are white. You might not have that issue if you have a different color. Now let's take a look at the eyelet chain. It's pretty standard, but they do have some plastic overlays both on top as well as on the inside cage part of the shoe. They do have that extra eyelet so that if you enjoy runner's knot, you've got the space to be able to do that. And then as we look at the tongue of the shoe, it's pretty well padded and it's not gusseted. So if you enjoy gusseted tongue, the Brooks Ghost 13 isn't going to do it for you. But it is wide, and you can see it flares out pretty good. So it lays nice and flat across your foot. And I didn't have any issues with this migrating around at all. It felt really comfortable. Now let's look at the padding, back around that heel collar and tab of the shoe. They got lots of padding here. I felt very comfortable. It didn't seem to matter the length of the run. A lot of times, I'd be out, it would be a 5-6 mile run. So just kind of that middle distance for me. But I have had them out on a longer run experience. So I think Saturday I had them out about 12, maybe 12 and a half miles, somewhere in that ballpark. And they felt good the entire time that I was running. So didn't have any hot spots, very comfortable. And now let's just look at the heel counter. That is something I do pay attention to because I overpronate. And in this case, they've got lots of structure here. So if you're looking for a shoe that has a lot of structure in that heel counter to give you a little extra stability from that pronation standpoint, you're going to find it here. They have plenty of structure. So I do appreciate that. And I did feel pretty snugged in the shoe. And I say snugged in rather than locked in. It's a comfortable upper across that midfoot. And I felt like there was a nice, good heel pocket that my heel sat in. So my heel wasn't moving around at all. I didn't feel like it was slipping side to side or up or down. That felt pretty solid. But across the midfoot, if you're looking for a racing shoe fit where you feel, like really locked down, I didn't really get that experience in these, but it was very comfortable. And it works great for me as a daily trainer. I do like that comfort. Okay, so now let's take a look at their midsole material. Now it has 32 millimeter stack height in the heel and a 20 millimeter stack height in the forefoot for a 12 millimeter offset from the heel to the toe. And in the beginning of the video, I mentioned that these shoes were recommended to me by my physical therapist. And this is why. This is the tallest biggest offset that I have in any of my shoes. But one of the first things they did when I showed up to physical therapy, day one, is they put heel lifts. They put lifts in my shoes to raise my heel up a bit higher to have that bigger offset from my heel to the toe. And they mentioned that the Brooks Ghost has a 12 millimeter offset. And they said if I had those shoes already, that they would certainly recommend that I wear them during the process of going through physical therapy. And when I wasn't wearing them, to use the lifts in other shoes to raise my heel up higher. So don't, if you're a physical therapist and you have some insight as to why that might be, maybe mention that in the comment section below. I'm sure that other runners would be interested to know that as well. For me, though, it did relieve some of the pain that I had. At the time, my entire left leg was, I was having trouble with it all the way from, the underneath my foot, around my ankle, up the IT band, my knee, all the way up through my hip. Everything was just kind of in really bad shape. But the heel lifts did help with my knee pain. So I did appreciate that. It was a good tip by my physical therapist. They actually have two different types of foam underfoot. They have their BioMoGo foam. Now, if you're not familiar with this, they came out with this MoGo foam back in 2006, which is a polymer-based EVA foam. that is a bit more dense, but it gives it a snappier ride, so it has more bounce or energy return. And then in 2007, they came out with their BioMoGo version of the foam. And what I found really pretty great, and I'm going to give a hat tip to Brooks on this one. The bio simply stands for biodegradable. And when this shoe will eventually find its way into a landfill, with the new process that they built, or how they're producing that midsole material, it will break down 50 times faster than the previous versions of that foam. So it'll reduce the waste in the landfill. And when they develop this polymer-based foam material, they also reduce the weight or waste in their production process. So kudos to Brooks for being environmentally friendly. And this is the part that I really found cool for them. And the reason I'm tipping my hat is that they shared their chemical process on how that material is able to break down 50 times faster in their BioMoGo version of the foam with their competitors. So, kudos to them, again, for being environmentally friendly. I really appreciate that. Very cool. But they co-mode the process with their BioMoGo foam and their DNA Loft material. Now, the DNA Loft is their most cushioned foam underfoot. And they actually have it running on the sides of the shoe from the heel all the way up to the toe. And I'm going to try to attempt to show you this on film here. So on the arch side of the foot is their BioMoGo material. Now that's the more dense foam that you have underfoot. And then on this side of the shoe, on the outside of the shoe, is their DNA Loft material. What's so nice about that is the shoe is adapting to the mechanics of the runner. And so it's less of the runner trying to adapt to the shoe and more the shoe adapting to them, which gives you a much more smooth, pleasant ride. And I really appreciate that technology in the shoe, and they do it well. I was really impressed with just how smooth a ride this is. And as I was out running today, I was thinking about this and thinking about doing this video for you guys here today. And I felt like, I was just in cruise control or on autopilot. I didn't have to think about my foot strike or my gait cycle. It just felt really good. After about a mile or two, I wasn't even thinking about what I was doing. I was just listening to music, enjoying a little Def Leppard and AC/DC out on my run today and just enjoying it. And I didn't have to think about it. It just felt comfortable, very, very smooth. So let's flip it over and we'll take a look at the outsole and that rubber that they have there. And you'll see that they've got plenty of rubber that's covering all of that co-molded foam that they have in their midsole. And they've got their flex grooves up in the forefoot of the shoe. It just adds to that smooth gait cycle that you get. Now, this is a lot like, and I've used this before as an analogy, so it's not new, but it's a lot like pedaling a bicycle, just how smooth it is when you're out running in these shoes. And I really appreciate that feeling. And I've had these shoes, out on dirt. I've had them on, concrete and pavement. Today was a little bit of ice and snow, and they've performed really well. The outsole material is a bit thicker than you might find on some other daily trainers, but it worked in my favor today. It was like having a little extra tread on the bottom of my shoes. So I felt pretty comfortable running through that softer, fluffier snow that was sitting on top of the pavement that you saw in the run sequences and so on. So overall, I just found the shoe to be a real pleasure to run in. And as we look at that outsole material as well, you can see that there's no signs of wear anywhere. And again, I've had these shoes out in a variety of different environments. And so for 50 miles, you would think that you'd see some scuff marks somewhere, but I couldn't find any. So I think it's going to hold up really well. I haven't noticed any kind of breakdown in that midsole material. It's still really snappy. I think these shoes are going to go a long time. So I do appreciate that because, shoes are expensive. So we like to get a little bit of value for our money. And if you're looking for, a shoe that is going to give you a lot of, comfortable daily training mileage, I think that this neutral road shoe, the Ghost 13 by Brooks, is a shoe that you could certainly consider to be in your rotation. Hey, I really enjoyed making this video for you guys. I hope you enjoyed it. If you did, maybe give it a thumbs up. As always, run tall, run strong, be kind to one another. Thanks for watching, and we'll see you next time.